what we want to do in this section is to simply look at how do we write the components of a vector. All right, so we're looking at some vector basics, and in this segment, we're just looking at how do we write the components of these vectors. So quickly, we want to remind ourselves of the idea behind the components of the vector. So let us say that we have a vector A, B. So if we have a vector AB, it is that the top number is a X number and the bottom number is a Y value. The X values would always move to the right or to the left. If it is moving to the right, it's a positive number, as you could see here. It's a positive number if it's moving to the right. And if it is going to the left, it's going to be a negative number. The point we're making is the moment you have the vectors, you have to either move to the right or to the left, right? So one has to move to the right or to the left, depending on the direction in which you are trying to go. So moving to the right, this top number is positive. Moving to the left, the top number is negative. Outside of that, we have the bottom number that represents a upward or a downward movement. So if you're going up, it is a positive number. If you're going down, it is a negative number. So the point we're making is to complete your mission, you would want to move to the right or to the left before you go up or down. Those movements are what we call the components of the vector. Now, let's look at this. So we have a number of them here. We might not do all, but by then we would have had the idea coming out. So let us look on these ideas. Look at this vector here. This vector, it's MN. And you can see that the arrow is pointing from M going towards N. So you want to think about, how do I get from M to N? Remember that we have to move horizontally first before we could move vertically. So when you think about this, you want to decide that you want to go to the left until you're lined up with N, then you come right at it. So let's count the units, the number of units. We're moving to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4 units to the left. That means that this is a -4 because we're moving 4 units to the left. And then we're going to come down 1 time and we reach there. So this is a -1. So we're talking about the components of that vector is -4, -1. So Mn is -4, -1. Let's look at another vector, vector AB. So in observing vector AB, we do note that we're going to actually move to the right once, then to the left. Because we were actually moving from A, heading towards B, because we see the arrow pointing in that direction. So it means then, in order to move from A to B, and if we have to move horizontally before we move vertically, then we would have moved 1 unit to the right and then 2 units down. So then the vector AB is equal to 1, -2. So that's the vector, the component for the vector AB. Let's look on this one. So if we're looking at the vector OP, we're moving from O to P. Look at the arrow. So let us see what's gonna be our components. Remember, we're moving from O and we're heading towards P. First movements has to be horizontal. So you could check it. We're gonna move 1 unit to the left, just 1 unit to the left. And we realize that we have arrived at P, which means we're not gonna go up or down, which means this is a 0. So the components of the vector OP is -1, 0. All right, let's see if we could grab any more. There are a number of them. Let's go. Let's see if we could grab any more. All right. We have a vector here. Let's check out this vector quantity, CD. So we're moving from C here and we're heading towards D right there. You could see the arrow is pointing this way. So then let us just trace where we're going. We're definitely gonna have to move to the right. And then we line up with D and then we just step right down to where D is. Right there. So it's just for us to see the components that we have. So we're talking about the vector C, D. The arrow is moving from C to D, very importantly. So then we would have moved to the right 1 time, just 1 time. Check it out, 1 time to the right. That's +1 at the top. And then we're gonna come down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 until we reach the point D. Going down is a negative number, so that's a -6. So the components of the vector CD is 1, -6. Let's do the last one. Let us look at the vector EF. So we're starting at E and we're heading towards F. You could see the arrow pointing that direction. So we're trying to find the vector EF. Now let's check. Remember that you should move horizontally before you move vertically. But if you check, we're not gonna go to the right or to the left because we are already lined up underneath F. So without moving to the right or to the left, we just walk it straight up to F. How many units? Well, let's check that off. 1, 2. The top number is a 0 because we did not move to the left or to the right. And the bottom number is +2 because we went upwards. Well, thank you for watching, and I hope that you learned something. Please subscribe, share, and drop a comment. See you next time for more on vectors.